This isn't some haunted house story. We don't live in a cabin in the woods, or some abandoned Victorian with creaky floors and antique dolls staring at you from high shelves. We live in a 2-story beige house in the suburbs of Missouri. My dad, Kyle, is a mechanic. My mom, Melissa, works night shifts at the hospital. My little sister Emily is 10, and she's obsessed with slime videos and sleepovers. I'm Elijah, I'm 17, and I hate our bathroom with everything in me. I know how it sounds. The bathroom? But hear me out. It started small. Just the faucet. I remember the first time it happened clearly. It was around 3 a.m., a couple weeks after my birthday last September. I was playing some dumb mobile game under my blanket, trying not to wake Emily. My parents were out, Mom was working, and Dad had gone to pick her up. Everything was quiet, like dead quiet. Then I heard it. Drip. Drip. Drip, drip, drip. I thought I was imagining it at first. Then it turned into a steady stream. I pulled the blanket down and sat up in bed, heart already racing for no reason. The bathroom is at the end of the hall from my room. Small, nothing fancy, just a shower with one of those sliding frosted glass doors, a toilet that always runs unless you jiggle the handle, and a big rectangular mirror above a wide sink. The walls are that ugly greenish color that's supposed to be calming but just makes me think of mildew. The faucet was on full blast. I could hear it clearly. I got up, walked down the hallway barefoot, the carpet feeling kind of damp for some reason under my feet even though no one had spilled anything. The second I stepped into the bathroom, it shut off. Just like that. No dripping. No creaking. Silence. I stood there for a second, breathing shallow, staring at the mirror. There was no fog. No condensation. Just my own wide-eyed face staring back at me like a ghost in the dim hallway light. I looked down at the tap. Dry. I touched the handle, freezing cold. At first, I thought it was just some kind of old pipe thing. Maybe a pressure buildup or whatever. But it didn't stop. It got worse every night. Sometimes it was the faucet turning on and off by itself. Sometimes the lights would flicker just in the bathroom, even after Dad replaced the bulb. Sometimes the mirror would fog up like someone had taken a hot shower, when no one had. But the worst was the smell. Like wet iron. Metallic. Not all the time, but once in a while, when I opened the door, that stench would hit me in the face like a punch. It smelled like blood. But Mom never noticed it. Dad would just laugh it off and tell me to stop watching scary crap on YouTube. And then I started hearing it. The breathing. I don't know how else to describe it. It wasn't loud. It wasn't obvious. It was subtle, but definitely there. You know that sound when you're in a quiet room, and someone is behind a curtain or a shower door, trying to stay silent, but they can't help the sound of their breath catching? That's what I'd hear. Behind the shower door. Always from the shower. The first time I heard it, I bolted down the hallway so fast I tripped on the rug and slammed into the coat rack. Mom thought I was having a panic attack. I told her the truth. Something was in there. She gave me the whole, "You're not sleeping enough," and "teenagers and their hormones" talk. I stopped using that bathroom altogether. I'd go downstairs instead, or wait till I got to school. But the thing is, the noises followed me. It started happening during the day. I'd hear the water running when I came home from school. I'd ask Emily if she used the bathroom and forgot to turn it off. She'd just blink and go, "No, I've been watching TV, Eli." One time I found a wet handprint on the bathroom mirror. It was too big to be Emily's, and the shape looked wrong. Like the fingers were longer than they should have been. And then came the night I'll never forget. It was around 11 p.m. Mom was still at work. Dad had gone to bed. I was watching a movie downstairs and eating leftover pizza. Emily had fallen asleep on the couch beside me. I remember she was curled up under this yellow throw blanket with little bees on it. I didn't want to wake her, so I paused the movie and gently picked her up to take her upstairs. When I got to the top of the stairs, I heard it again. The faucet. Running full blast. But this time, I also heard something else. Like feet shuffling, dragging slightly across tile. Then came a sharp metallic clang, like someone knocking something over. I froze. My arms started to shake a little because I was still holding Emily. She stirred and mumbled, "Turn it off, Eli." But I wasn't moving. I couldn't. Something was moving around in the bathroom. I backed into my room with her and closed the door softly. I laid her down on my bed, grabbed my phone, and turned the flashlight on. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it would wake her. I crept back down the hallway. My legs felt like they weren't even mine. When I reached the bathroom, the door was closed. But I never closed it. We never did, just one of those habits, you know? The only time we closed it was when someone was using it. I didn't open the door. I just stood there, feeling the cold air leaking out from the crack near the floor, listening to the soft running water and that slow, quiet breathing coming from the other side of the door. I should have called Dad. I should have called anyone. But I just stood there, like an idiot, for what felt like 10 minutes straight, heart hammering, breathing shallow, watching the light under the door flicker like someone was walking in front of it. Eventually, everything stopped. Water off. Light steady. Breathing gone. When I finally opened the door, the entire mirror was fogged over. But the rest of the room was dry. And right in the middle of the mirror, written in a single finger swipe, was one word. Stay. That was the night I realized whatever this was, it wasn't just weird. It wasn't my imagination. And it wasn't going away. I don't know if it's targeting me or if I'm just the only one paying attention. But every time I pass that bathroom, I feel like it's watching me. Like it's waiting for me to get too comfortable. To stop being afraid. But I can't. I can't stop being afraid. And I'm starting to wonder if that's exactly what it wants. After that night with this stay message, I didn't go near the upstairs bathroom for 2 days. I used the downstairs one, even if it meant sneaking past Dad, who'd give me grief about acting paranoid. He doesn't believe in anything he can't fix with a wrench or duct tape. But the thing is, the bathroom didn't care that I was avoiding it. It started coming to me. The third night after the mirror incident, I was in my room around midnight. I had headphones on, half watching some dumb YouTube video while texting my friend Marcus about school. Everything was normal until I felt it. The air in my room shifted. You know that strange pressure you get when a thunderstorm's rolling in? That thick, invisible weight? That's exactly what it felt like. And then I heard it. The sound of running water. Not distant. Not down the hall. Right behind me. I whipped around in my desk chair so fast it rolled backward and slammed into the wall. I stared at my closet. My closet, with the sliding mirror door. And from that mirror, I could hear the faucet. Not the sound of water in pipes, not ambient white noise. I'm talking about a real, clear, steady stream, like someone had turned the tap all the way on and walked away. I just sat there, frozen. Because now I could also hear dripping. But not from the mirror. It was coming from my ceiling. I looked up. A dark patch was spreading above my bed. It was shaped weird, not like a leak. More like a hand, fingers stretched wide. Then drip. A drop hit my comforter. Another drop hit my desk. The smell hit next, metallic, thick, unmistakable. Like blood. I grabbed my phone flashlight and climbed on my bed, pointing the light at the ceiling. There was nothing up there. No water. No pipe. But the dripping sound didn't stop. I ran out of my room. My heart was going nuts in my chest. I rushed to Mom and Dad's door and knocked hard. Dad opened it after a second, rubbing his face. What? What's wrong? There's something in my ceiling. The bathroom. I didn't even know how to finish the sentence without sounding insane. He just sighed and walked to my room. When he checked, the stain was gone. The air was back to normal. Not even a drop on my bed. I could tell he thought I was losing it. He made me sleep on the couch that night, and honestly, I was fine with it. I didn't want to be upstairs anyway. But it didn't matter. That thing, It started leaving the bathroom. The next major event happened 2 days later. I was home alone, Mom at work, Dad running errands, Emily at a friend's house. I was downstairs, finally feeling okay again, playing PS5 and eating Doritos, when I heard something upstairs. Footsteps. Not heavy, but slow. Like someone walking barefoot across tile. I muted the TV. I didn't move. The sound kept going. Step. Step. Pause. Then came the sound that made my whole body lock up. Creak. That was the hallway floorboard right outside my room. Something was walking toward my bedroom. I grabbed the fireplace poker from beside the mantel, because that's what I had, and slowly crept up the stairs. Every step was like a countdown. When I reached the top, everything was still. No water. No smell. But my bedroom door was wide open, and I always leave it closed. I raised the poker and stepped inside, checking corners, under the bed, the closet. Nothing. But when I turned to leave, I froze. The bathroom door was open now. I swear it was shut just moments ago. And the light was on. Not flickering. Not dim. Just on. I didn't walk over there. I didn't even get close. But the mirror inside the bathroom was facing just right so I could see it from where I stood. And there, in the reflection, was something I'll never forget. It looked like me. My face. My hoodie. My hair. But it wasn't me. Because its eyes were completely black, like polished obsidian. And it was smiling. I blinked once. And it was gone. Just my empty room reflected in the mirror. I started sleeping with my lights on after that. I stopped using mirrors altogether, covered mine with an old beach towel, and even flipped my phone camera so I wouldn't accidentally see myself. But the final straw that week? It said my name. It was around 3:30 a.m., a few days after the mirror thing. I was asleep on the couch again, dead tired. The TV had shut itself off, and the house was silent. I woke up because someone whispered right next to my ear. Eli. Not loudly. Not aggressively. Just close. Too close. I jumped off the couch, heart hammering, swinging my arm out in pure instinct like I was trying to hit someone. But no one was there. Not a soul. I ran to the kitchen, turned every light on, even checked the locks. Everything was untouched. Doors shut. Windows latched. I swear on everything, it knew my name. And it said it with affection. Like it knew me. That's when I stopped pretending it was the bathroom. It wasn't the room. It was the mirror. Something in that mirror sees me. Follows me. It started there. But now it's leaking out, into the hall, into my bedroom, into my head. And I don't know how much longer I can handle this without someone believing me. Because whatever it is, it's not just watching anymore. It's trying to become me. It's been 2 weeks since the first time I heard the faucet. 2 weeks since I started seeing my reflection do things I didn't do. I haven't said anything to my parents since the night it whispered my name. I knew how it would go. I'd get a therapy appointment. My phone would be taken away. Maybe some sleeping pills. No one listens when you say, "There's something in the mirror pretending to be me." So I've been acting normal. Or trying to. I covered every mirror in the house. Every single one. My closet mirror, gone. Bathroom mirrors, towels taped over them. Even the tiny one in my sister's makeup kit. If I had to brush my teeth, I'd do it in the dark. Without looking up. Without checking. But it didn't matter. Last Thursday, I was sitting in history class. The teacher, Mrs. Ellman, was rambling on about the Civil War. I was half asleep, doodling spirals in the corner of my notebook, when I felt it. Like I was being watched. Hard. I looked around. No one was looking at me. Everyone was either on their laptops or trying not to pass out. But the feeling didn't go away. It got heavier, like pressure on my chest. And then I noticed it. The reflective window on the metal supply cabinet across the room. From where I sat, I could see just enough of my own face. But it wasn't moving like mine. My actual face was still. My mouth was closed. My head wasn't tilted. But in the reflection, I was smiling. Not a full grin, just this slow, knowing curl of the lips. Like I'd been caught in a secret. Like I was mocking myself. I blinked and looked away instantly. But when I glanced back, the reflection was gone. The cabinet just showed the classroom again. Normal stuff. Desks. Light. Books. Not me. I went home sick that day. Told the nurse I had a migraine. I couldn't think. Couldn't even sit still without shaking my leg like I was running from something invisible. By the time I got home, the lights in the hallway upstairs were flickering again. I swear to God, the moment I passed the bathroom, I heard the faucet start running behind the towel-covered door. I didn't open it. But that night, I made a huge mistake. I dreamed I was brushing my teeth. That's it. Something so normal. I was standing at the sink, staring into the mirror, just like always. But the lighting was all wrong. Dim, almost bluish. Like the kind of light you see right before a thunderstorm. I looked tired in the mirror, like my face was drooping under invisible weight. And then my reflection blinked. But I didn't. It blinked again. Then it leaned closer to the glass, slow and deliberate, and mouthed something I couldn't hear. Its lips formed the words over and over. "Let me out." Then it smiled, tilted its head just like before, and started slamming its forehead against the glass. Crack. 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 Blood smeared across the mirror. It didn't even flinch. Then suddenly, the reflection stopped, head tilted down, bleeding, motionless. And in the silence, it looked up and said one last thing. Out loud. Clear as day. "You don't belong here." "I do." I woke up screaming. For the first time in years. Emily came rushing into the living room, rubbing her eyes, her hair sticking out like a baby lion. "Eli, are you okay?" I told her I had a nightmare. But she didn't move right away. She just stared at me for a second too long, then said, "You were talking in your sleep." That didn't surprise me. "What did I say?" She paused. I could see her trying to remember. Then she said, "You kept saying, 'Don't look at me. Don't look at me. Don't look at me.' Over and over." That night I did something desperate. I went back into the bathroom. The upstairs one. I don't know what came over me. Maybe I just wanted to face it. Maybe I thought it would stop if I saw it head on. I peeled the towel off the mirror, one shaking hand at a time. The second it dropped, I felt it. That cold air, like I was standing inside a freezer. And the mirror? It was just me. For about 3 seconds. Then my reflection tilted its head, but I didn't. And behind it, inside the mirror, the bathroom looked different. Older. Dirtier. Like it had been abandoned for years. The tile was cracked. The walls were moldy. And in the shadows behind me, I could see something moving. It looked human, but it was crawling on all fours, limbs bent the wrong way, head twitching like it couldn't stay still. It scuttled out of sight just as my reflection smiled again. And then, crack. The mirror split. Not much, just a small crack down the middle, like something had pressed against it too hard from the inside. I dropped the towel and backed out of the room, slamming the door shut. And I swear, just before I turned away, I heard my own voice whisper from the other side of the door. "You're almost ready." That was last night. This morning I found something even worse. On my phone. A photo. Taken sometime after 3 a.m. It was a photo of me. Sleeping on the couch. From the top of the stairs. After I found that photo of me sleeping, I didn't sleep at all the next night. I stayed up with every light in the house on. Sat in the living room with my back to the wall, holding a kitchen knife. I must have looked insane, but I didn't care anymore. I was done pretending this was in my head. The thing is, nothing happened that night. No whispers. No running water. No movement in mirrors. Just silence. And I should have known that silence meant something worse was coming. The next day started like any other. Saturday morning, Mom was in the kitchen making pancakes, blasting some 2000s playlist like she always does when she's trying to force a good mood into the house. Dad was outside mowing the lawn. Emily was upstairs, still in her pajamas, doing TikTok dances in her room with the door cracked open. And I was exhausted. I went to take a shower. But not upstairs. Never again. I used the downstairs bathroom. I double-checked every surface. Covered the mirror with a hoodie. Made sure the shower curtain was pulled all the way open. I even left the door cracked just to hear the house around me. It was fine. Nothing happened. For the first time in weeks, I thought maybe it was over. But right after I got out, towel around my neck, phone in hand, I heard it. A scream. Emily's scream. I ran up those stairs so fast I nearly slipped. Her bedroom door was wide open, the lights were off, and she was standing frozen in the middle of the room, hands shaking, staring at her vanity. I swear to you, I've never seen that look on her face before, like she was about to throw up and cry and faint all at once. "Oh, Eli," she stammered. What happened?" She pointed at the mirror. It was just a regular vanity mirror. Small, circle-shaped. But it was tilted up slightly, facing her bed. "I was sitting on the edge of my bed," she said, barely breathing. "And I saw you behind me." Her eyes filled with tears. "Only, it wasn't you. It looked like you, but your head was wrong." "Wrong how?" She paused. "It was twitching. Like glitching. Like when a video freezes for a second and skips forward." She took a step toward me. "And you were smiling. That awful smile. And then your eyes rolled all the way back. I turned around, nothing was there. But when I looked back at the mirror..." Her voice cracked. "It was still smiling at me." I didn't even answer her. I grabbed her vanity mirror and threw it down the stairs. It shattered into 4 crooked pieces, glass skidding across the tile. That's when Mom walked in. "What the hell is going on up here?" I tried to explain, but she wouldn't hear a word. Told me I was freaking Emily out, said I'd pay for the mirror, grounded me for scaring the family. I didn't even fight it. Because I knew what this was. It wasn't just me anymore. The thing, it's using my face now. Like a mask. Like bait. It knows what I look like. How I move. How I sound. And now it's showing itself to the people I love. That night, I tried to sleep in Emily's room. She didn't even question it. She was too scared to be alone. I pushed her dresser in front of the closet door. Left the lights on. Covered the big mirror with a poster from her wall. She was curled up beside me on the floor with a blanket, facing the door. I stayed awake with my back to the mirror, just in case. Just waiting. At around 2:43 a.m., I started hearing the dripping again. Not from inside her room. From behind the wall. Like inside the drywall itself. It was slow. Rhythmic. Tap. 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 Then the light flickered once. Just once. Emily shifted beside me. She wasn't asleep anymore. "Eli," she whispered. "Yeah? Can I ask you something?" "Sure." She paused. And then she said, "Are you standing up right now?" My blood turned to ice. "No." "Why?" Her breathing sped up. "Because there's someone standing in front of the door." I turned around fast. Nothing behind us. I slowly sat up and looked toward the door. And there it was. A silhouette. Just standing there. Perfectly still. Too still. But it wasn't shadowy or see-through. It was solid. Black hoodie. Same height as me. Head slightly tilted. I couldn't see its face. But I knew what it would look like. I reached for the lamp on her nightstand and flicked it on. No one was there. But the hallway light was on now, and I know for a fact we turned it off earlier. Emily was shaking so hard I thought she might faint. She didn't sleep the rest of the night. Neither did I. I wanted to tell Dad. I really did. But how the hell do you explain this without sounding like you're having a breakdown? So instead, the next morning, I tried to prove it. I went through the house and checked every mirror, looked at the angles, the spots where you could catch a reflection from the stairs or the hallway. Nothing looked off. Nothing glitched. Until I checked the one in the garage. It's an old mirror Dad keeps on his workbench, covered in dust and scratches. I wiped it off and stared. And there, plain as day, I saw something I will never forget. The reflection of the inside of the bathroom upstairs. Not the garage. Not the bench. But the bathroom, the cracked tile, the light flickering, the same dirty sink. And my reflection in it was already watching me. Like it knew I'd find it eventually. It's been 3 days since the mirror in the garage. 3 days since I saw that reflection of the bathroom, like the thing in the mirror was telling me. It was ready. I kept thinking about that phrase. You don't belong here. I do. I didn't belong here. What did that even mean? What was it? Why was it doing this to me? I wasn't sure if it was real anymore. If I was going crazy. Or if this thing had always been there, just waiting for me to notice. That afternoon, I did something I should have done a long time ago. I went to the bathroom. The one upstairs. I don't know why I thought I could stop it. I thought if I could just see it for what it really was, if I could prove it was just some psychological trick, I could finally end this. I stood in front of the mirror, feeling like I was about to die. My heart was thudding in my chest, so loud I thought the house might hear it. The bathroom was cold, the air too still. My reflection looked back at me. I was shaking. You don't belong here, Elijah. The words came from behind me, but I knew it wasn't me speaking. It was the thing that wore my face. I didn't look away. I didn't scream. I didn't even blink. I just stared at my reflection. And then, just like that, the reflection smiled. I felt it then, this pull. Like something deep in my chest was being dragged to the mirror, almost as if I were being called. Dragged in? My reflection's smile grew wider. The eyes, they weren't mine anymore. They were black, empty holes. And I couldn't move. I wanted to run. I wanted to throw something. To break the glass. To scream. But my legs wouldn't listen. My body wouldn't move. I wasn't me anymore. The moment I realized I wasn't in control, that's when it happened. The mirror cracked. But not like it did before. This time, it didn't just crack. The whole thing broke open, like it was being split from the inside. Pieces of glass fell to the floor, but there was no sound. The world seemed muffled. Like I was underwater. I couldn't even breathe. I couldn't think. And then the reflection stepped out. It wasn't like in the movies. There was no big explosion, no supernatural force. It just stepped forward. Out of the mirror. Its body slid through the shattered glass. At first it looked like me, but then, it wasn't. It was a twisted version of me. Its arms were too long. Its face wrong. Distorted. It looked like the skin was stretched too tight over its skull. Its mouth stretched open in an impossible grin. I tried to scream. I opened my mouth. But no sound came out. It grabbed me then. No hesitation. It didn't have hands. Not like a person. Its arms were more like tentacles, long and thin, wrapping around me, pulling me toward the glass. My body wouldn't move. I couldn't fight back. It whispered in my ear. You don't belong here. You're not me. Its voice, it was my voice. But it was so wrong. So distorted. And then the worst part happened. It dragged me closer. The closer I got to the mirror, the more I could feel it pulling me inside. It wasn't a mirror anymore. It was a hole. A place. A dimension. I could see the bathroom from a distance. The real one. But the reflection around me was distorted. Warped. Like I was in a funhouse. And then, just as it was about to drag me into that reflection, I heard a voice, my dad's voice, calling from the hallway. Elijah. What's going on in there? In a flash of clarity, I fought. I don't know how, but I fought. I slammed my hand against the wall. My body jerked forward. I pushed against the glass. It felt like I was going to break in half, but I kept going. I don't know how long I was trapped there. I could see the thing, my reflection, still smiling at me from the other side of the mirror. But the moment I pressed harder, I felt a crack. And the glass started to give way. With one final push, I ripped free. I don't remember how I got out of that bathroom. I don't know how long I was there. The next thing I remember, I was lying on the floor in the living room. My mom and dad were standing over me. Emily was crying beside me, shaking. I could barely keep my eyes open. But one thing was clear. The mirror, it was gone. There were no pieces of glass. There were no cracks. And the bathroom was normal again. But the thing was still inside me. I could feel it. Deep in my chest. And it wasn't just in the mirror anymore. I'm writing this now because I don't know what else to do. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's gone. But I'm still afraid. Because sometimes, in the middle of the night, I hear it. Just like before. The faucet. And sometimes, just before I fall asleep, I feel it. Watching. The end.